Hello, hello, and welcome to Notary Life with Kimmi. I hope all is well in these notary streets. How's it going? How's it going? I'm going to give YouTube a few minutes to notify people. You know the drill. You know the drill. Hey, those who will watch on the replay and those who will listen to the podcast. In case you didn't know, Notary Educators has a podcast. Well, actually, it's Notary Life with Kimmi, but the crew is on here. So we'll give YouTube just a few minutes to notify people. Guys, I got a story for y'all. I got a lot going on for y'all today. We have a lot going on. We have a story time. We have some tips. And we also have the new program that I just released, which is called Notary Business Success Coaching. Hello, welcome. Yeah, if you have not heard about the new coaching program, it is the bomb. And it's so funny because I wasn't ready to start asking for reviews yet from my people, but they've already started reviewing. So the receipts are in. So yes. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Welcome. Yeah. After I tell y'all this story today, I mean, you gotta learn how to deal with these signing companies, direct. A lot of people want to go with direct. So really I said signing companies because most people don't know what direct even means. I'll talk about that briefly. But I had a call from a direct client yesterday and I was a little disappointed in them. I always say you got to treat your clients right. And a lot of people don't subscribe to that. They just don't. That's not how they run their business. It is what it is. That's not how I run my business. But the way they run their business leaves a lot to be desired. So I'm going to tell you about it. We'll wait just a couple more seconds and we'll get right into it. Okay. And the tips I'm going to give you today are going to equate to making more money in your business, especially if you are already doing notary signing agent work, loan signing agent work, whatever title you want to insert. Because a lot of times when it comes to signing companies and direct, we may not ask as many questions. We don't. And sometimes I don't either. I'll be honest. However, after what happened yesterday, oh yeah, your girl gonna be asking a lot more questions. They're interviewing you basically if you can do the job, if you're available, if you have a scanner, if you can do this. So now, we have to kind of interview them too to make sure the job is a good fit. Because just because they need a notary, that job may not be for you. A lot of times people quote jobs and the client is like, well, that's too much. So they're not your notary. Well, guess what? They could tell you about the job and it could be too much and you still are not their notary. You see what I mean? So let's get right into it. So yesterday I got a call from a direct client. Okay. And he's talking fast. And I don't like that automatically. When somebody just starts kind of fast talking to you, all the hairs on my neck go up and I'm like, what you doing? What you trying to pull? So he says, yeah, I got a buyer's package and it's, just 111 pages. No, it's a refi. My bad. Refi. It's a refi. It's 111 pages. No attorney is needed because you're in the state of Georgia. I know you normally require one, but this one doesn't require one. The property is located in another state. And so it's only 111. It shouldn't take that long. And he's just going on and on. So finally, me and Jeff, I'm talking to Jeffrey. I said, first I had to look at my calendar because my calendar was kind of tight yesterday. It really was. But I was like, oh, it's one more. That was like around 12 o'clock. My last two appointments yesterday, one was going to be at 7 and one was going to be at 7:30. So the client, the direct client, he's telling me all these, like what he thinking is a pro for me to accept the job, right? So I said, let me put you on hold for just a second. So I talked to Jeff or whatever, and we decide we're going to go ahead and take it. And I said, how much should I ask him for? So I told him. The client was like, sure, that's no problem, whatever, right? Okay, so I get the package. First of all, let's go back just a little bit. So that was at 12 o'clock, around 12:30-ish, because me and Jeff were trying to go and have lunch before we had all these other evening appointments, right? So I put the lunch on hold because the signing was supposed to be at 5 o'clock. Hey, Joe Friday, what's going on? So the signing did not happen at 5 o'clock. When I reached out at 12:30, they said we're still waiting on the documents. Okay, no worries. So we changed our lunch plan because where we were going to have lunch was like maybe 20 minutes from the actual signing. So it was like we would go to lunch, come back home, print, and go back. We weren't doing all that, right? So we just said, you know what, we'll go to the chicken place. We wanted to try another day, okay? So now we come back. We don't leave. We stay home. I'm coming back to the story. So we don't leave. We decide we'll just stay here closer to the 5 o'clock hour, right? So I look at the documents, still never came around 5. The client's calling me at this point now because it's a split signing. For those of you who do not know what a split signing is, half of the documents were being signed here in Georgia and half of the documents were being signed in another state, okay? So it was a daughter, 2 daughters. So there were sisters on my end, and then the father and mother were on the other end. So they all jointly owned something together that was being refinanced. So the person on this end, she's calling me. She's like, hey, my dad got his documents and everything should be good to go. I'm waiting on you, basically. And I said, well, I don't have the documents on my end. So I was waiting on her to say, well, why don't I get the documents from my father and send them to you? I was waiting on her to say that, but she did not. And that's not how that works, okay? You cannot just have clients send you documents. And if you're doing notary signing agent work, loan signing agent work, there are several companies that will have you print out the documents, even though the client has already been mailed the documents, okay? So I don't know if that's ever happened to you or not, but it happens a lot in the loan modification space. Why? And the numbers are exactly the same. So you get sometimes clients will want to push back and say, well, I already got my documents. They don't trust. Why did you have to bring a copy? And I already have a copy. Okay. So before I go any further with the story, how many of you are actually doing notary signing agent work or loan signing agent work? 1, if you are. 2, if you're not doing it yet. Have you already started doing notary signing agent? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Let me see what's going on. Am I talking Greek here? Do you understand my plight? And then I'll get back to what happened with the documents and everything. And why you need to ask questions and what screening questions you need to ask. So not for now, not now, but have done. Okay. Joe Friday says not now. And Jasmine says no, she's not doing notary signing agent yet. Well, that's okay. Remember these tips. And this also goes for general notary work too. The same things I'm about to tell you. When it comes to questions, questions equal money. You hear me say that all the time. The more questions you ask, cha-ching, 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 because it's probably going to change what they thought was a $2 or $3 notary. Miss B. Duncan says no too. Okay. It's probably going to change what they thought was a $2 or $3 notary to, they understand, oh, this is not as cheap as I thought it was. Let me see, y'all. It's a job they keep trying to send out, but the price ain't going up, so I'm not interested. I got to tell y'all about that one too. I had 2 stories that I'm going to tell y'all. So let's get back to my signer. So my signer is calling me. She's like, hey, yeah, they're coming to my dad's house. And at this point, it's getting like almost 6 o'clock. And she said, well, they're doing my father's at 6. So she's like, what's the latest that you can come? I said, well, I have a 7 o'clock, which I had told her earlier in the day when I first made contact. I have a 7 o'clock and a 7:30. So I could do 2 last night because both of them were here at the house. The 7 was here at the 7:30. So, okay. And they were quick signings. One of them was a loan mod, but it only had 2 signatures and only 1 notarization, basically, which was really easy. Because when he first pulled out the package, just the one that came at 7, I looked, I was like, did I underprice that? But I did not, because it was literally 2 documents. Half of me wanted to give him a little discount, but I was like, no, because it still doesn't change the fact of what we're doing. And I remember him doing more and maybe didn't charge him as much the last time. So anyway, all that being said, let's get to it. So I get the package. I look at it. It's 111 pages. He told me it was 100. It's not only 2 signers, but it's also commercial. Okay. It's a commercial refi. What does that mean? So, for example, it was another entity that owned the property. So it wasn't just Joe and Janie Smith signing the documents. No, they're signing as Joe and Janie Smith, members of Rockfellow LLC, ... And I was just like, what the heck is all this? So in Georgia, to do a refi, you have to have an attorney present. What this particular state, as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to have an attorney present. So that's why the direct person is thinking, oh, I'm doing her a favor. You don't need an attorney. Bump that. Oh my God. So it was crazy. So I'm looking at the docs and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I cannot. And it was no way that I was even going to put that on my calendar to continue the process after it was such a big package and they just didn't pay enough, right? So some questions that you can ask. So I did not end up doing the assignment. I did find another notary that was willing to go. But at this point, because I saw the package, I took it upon myself to tell the signing company that, hey, I found somebody that can do it for you because I cannot, because they missed their deadline. So I was committed up until 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock and the documents were not there, that counseled me having to do the assignment, right? And then you're never just stuck. If you can't do the assignment, you can't do the assignment, okay? It is what it is. But I mean, your car could break down, your child could be sick, you could be sick, right? So it's not committed like that. But I always take it upon myself. If I commit to a 5 o'clock or whatever, I'm going to do it. But once that time frame had passed, now is no longer my problem. Now we got to, figure out, am I going to still commit to doing the assignment or whatever, right?